Hey Lions fans! Here we are with the latest updates from the Lions ahead of their upcoming matchup, so without further ado, let's get right to it. Hit that like button and let's dive right in. Okay, let's talk about what's going on with our All-Pro center, Frank Ragnow. After suffering a partial pectoral tear during last week's game against the Arizona Cardinals, it looked like we might be losing our anchor on the offensive line for an extended period of time. But wait, there's some good news. Head coach Dan Campbell shared that while Ragnow won't play in Week 4 against the Seattle Seahawks, he should avoid a stint on injured reserve, which means we could see him back sooner rather than later. That's right, despite the initial concern, the Lions believe that Ragnow can not only avoid a season-ending scenario, but that he could even return to the lineup within the next 4 weeks. With a pectoral injury like his, the recovery can be long, sometimes up to 6 months, but Ragnow is already feeling better, according to Campbell. We're still early in the evaluation process, but I don't feel that way, Campbell said when asked if Ragnow could end up on IR. Frank bounces back pretty quickly, usually. He bounces back pretty quickly. He's starting to feel a lot better already. We all know Ragnow is one of the toughest guys out there. This is the same player who has battled a number of injuries throughout his career, from his chronic foot issue to concussions to groin injuries, and he's still found a way to perform at a high level. As Campbell put it, Frank is stubborn. He's tough-minded Frank. He's tough, he's stubborn, and then he wants to go and he always wants to go. The Lions have a bye in Week 5, giving Ragnow an additional 9 days to recover before potentially returning for Week 6. So for those worried about a long-term absence, it looks like we could see Ragnow back on the field sooner than most players would in his situation. This is the kind of news we need with such a critical stretch of games coming up. Now, onto another interesting topic that came up during Campbell's recent press conference, the 2023 NFL Draft and the Lions' interest in cornerback Devon Witherspoon. It's no secret that the Lions were really interested in Witherspoon heading into the draft, but we never got the chance to get him. He ended up going 5th overall to the Seahawks, our opponent this week, just 1 pick ahead of Detroit's original number 6 pick. Yeah, we really like him a lot, Campbell admitted. He's a competitive, aggressive, tough guy who plays football. He plays cornerback, nickelback, active player, ball boy. Witherspoon has already shown his versatility and impact on the Seahawks defense, starting his career at nickel before moving outside in base defense. He's been all over the field for Seattle, making plays and being a disruptive presence just like he was at Illinois. It's clear the Lions were eyeing a player who could bring that edge and versatility to our secondary. But the Lions didn't just settle when they missed out on Witherspoon. They made some savvy moves and ended up trading back, using those picks to select running back Jahmyr Gibbs, tight end Sam Laporta, and safety Brian Branch, all of whom have already made significant contributions in their rookie campaigns. When asked if he had any regrets about missing out on Witherspoon, Campbell said he's more than happy with how things turned out. I would take Brian, Branch, Laporta, and Gibbs for that, Campbell said. Whatever that combination of picks was, had it been him, Witherspoon, you're losing out on one of those players. You don't get the combination of 3. And it's hard to argue with that logic. Branch has been a force in the secondary, showing instincts and maturity well beyond his years. Laporta has been a standout at tight end, quickly becoming a reliable target for Jared Goff, while Gibbs has flashed his dynamic playmaking ability both on the ground and as a receiver. Each of these players fills a crucial role on the roster, and their impact is already being felt just a few weeks into the season. So while it would have been nice to see Witherspoon in Honolulu blue, the Lions ended up with a haul that sets them up well for the future. It's a perfect example of how sometimes the best move is the one you didn't plan for. This front office has been on fire with their draft strategy, and it's paying off on the field. What do you guys think, Lions fans? Were you hoping for Witherspoon during the draft, or are you pleased with the picks we made in his place? Now for some really intriguing insights into how our fan base is feeling about the injuries plaguing the Lions, and some news that sheds some light on what we need to do to beat the Seattle Seahawks on Monday Night Football. In a survey conducted by SB Nation Reacts, our Lions fans were asked 2 important questions. Are you confident the Lions are headed in the right direction? And which Lions injury is most concerning? Now, the answers were pretty illuminating. After a disappointing Week 2 loss to the Bucs, fan confidence plummeted, dropping from 97% to a worrying 79%. But last week, after a big bounce-back win against the Cardinals, we saw confidence levels rise back to 92%. It's great to see our fans rallying behind the team again, but it's clear the injury report has everyone on edge. When asked which injury was most concerning, Frank Ragnow's absence took the cake. More than half of fans listed Ragnow's situation as their biggest concern, and honestly, it's easy to see why. Ragnow isn't just a key player for our offensive line, he's one of the best centers in the entire league. Losing him has a ripple effect on the entire offense, affecting the running game, pass protection, and overall cohesion of the line. And for a team like ours that relies heavily on its offensive line to establish the identity of our game, it's no wonder fans are anxious. Coach Dan Campbell has already said that Ragnow won't play against the Seahawks. But we're heading into the bye week right after, so hopefully that gives him the extra time he needs to come back strong. Fingers crossed, right? Seattle's ground defense has shown some improvement this season, but historically, they have struggled to contain powerful running games like ours. We're amassing 163 rushing yards per game, which ranks third in the league. The secret to our success? Consistency and variety. We've been able to alternate between explosive runs and patient, intense drives that wear down opposing defenses. We'll need to lean into that on Monday. Controlling the pace of the game with our ground attack will be crucial because the Seahawks' defense thrives when it forces teams into third and long situations. The Seahawks' secondary has been brilliant this season. Rick Wallen, Devin Witherspoon, and their safety duo have made life miserable for opposing quarterbacks. But context is important. They faced a slew of inexperienced QBs and teams with limited passing attacks. Goff has been solid but inconsistent. This is his chance to put together a complete performance, and the offense will need him to stay calm, diagnose coverages correctly, and hit those deep throws when they are available. The Seahawks love to throw deep, especially to DK Metcalf. Limiting his explosive plays will be crucial. The Lions' defense has done a good job of bending but not breaking this season. If we can keep those big plays to a minimum, it will put more pressure on Geno Smith to sustain long drives, something we want to avoid. On the flip side, we need to counter with big plays of our own. Jameson Williams, with his speed, will be a key player in stretching the field. Hutchinson's former college coach, Mike McDonald, is now running the show for Seattle. He knows Hutchinson's strengths and weaknesses better than most. But Hutchinson has taken his game to another level this season. He's stronger, more technically refined, and is off to a strong start with 6.5 sacks in just 3 games. With Marcus Davenport out, Hutchinson will be the main focus of Seattle's pass protection. The Lions need him to continue to disrupt the pocket, especially against a Seahawks offensive line that is dealing with its own injury issues. Monday night's game will be a test of our mettle. The Seahawks are undefeated, but they haven't faced a team like us yet. The crowd at Ford Field will be roaring, and this is our chance to show the entire league that the Lions are for real. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think the Lions can overcome these injuries and pull off a big win against Seattle? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our updates. Go Lions!